Weird science
is the revolution.
Ghost Rider, Final Vengeance, #1. Final Vengeance, #1. And here we go. This is the idea, and people made fun of this, and they always do. Marvel's big on restarting a series. Same, at least, writer here. New #1. I just don't get it. I'll give you the credits here, and then we'll talk about that a second. It's Benjamin Percy writing, Danny Kim on art, Brian Valenza on colors, VC's Travis Lanham on letters. So we ended up having a 21-issue series by Ben Percy, and people seem to like it. Remember, people liked it at the beginning. They thought it was really cool. Oh, my God, this is a horror comic. But as I was reading it and reviewing it, I kept saying, we're not really getting much. We're doing hey, let's travel from here to there. Mm-hmm. We're going to get a monster or supernatural situation of the week and then move forward. And I thought, oh, God, by the time we ended up getting a kind of a story going on with the classic villain Exhaust and the side character Talia Warroad, most people had bailed.
Oh, yeah.
And I even looked in that 21 issues at the end of the first arc, and they were pushing, this is the big thing. You're going to see all this stuff. It was issue #10 that only one person reviewed. And I always say that the amount of reviews is really more telling than the scores, because if people aren't reviewing it, it means that their site has decided it's not getting enough play. Nobody's interested, and they just drop it. And that's what seemed to happen. And then from that 10th issue to when it got canceled at 21, so many issues only had that one review, and it was from comicbook.com. Not to throw shade, but usually they have 2 or 3 sentence reviews. It's not really that much of an effort to just throw it out there. They have a bunch listed in a row. So you end up having that. And nobody was talking about the book, and then it gets canceled. And then they announce there's going to be a new one. Oh, man, a new Ghost Rider. But it's Ben Percy again. And I don't get it. When you get into this book, I'm going to ask you as we go through this, like, if you thought of some things, if you think, why did the last series fail, and how does this make it better? I'm not seeing any answers that I can glean from anything, because we have Johnny Blaze as the Ghost Rider in the and so we get rid of him. But do you think it was anybody out there saying, I'm not going to read it because it's Johnny Blaze? There's nobody who isn't going to read because of that, right?
I think
That's
most
classic.
people want Johnny Blaze.
Exactly. Or Danny Kitch, or even if you get Robbie Reyes. There's so many, but Johnny Blaze is the deal.
He's
like
the guy.
If you're going to argue, anybody say, oh, they want John. So instead we get rid of Johnny just to tell you at the end, it's the Hood. And that is such a lame idea in my mind. I forgot it. I told you when the news item hit, the new, and they told everybody before. So why act like it's a big mystery here?
Yeah, don't even tell people anyway. It's like, come on, you want a mystery? Just make it a mystery.
And so I end up each week. I've been doing a comics and most anticipated, the preview deal, where I throw some things, and I say in that, it's not things I think are going to be great or that I love. There's things that are intriguing, and the idea of starting this up. I said, I want to see what they're going to do to make it better. I forgot that they had announced it. That's how little I think anybody cares, because I said it, a bunch of people watch us. Nobody corrected me. I said I thought it was going to be Talia Warroad.
I had no idea. I was with you.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, I made the joke that I thought it was going to be Talia Warroad from the last series. I kind of wonder now. You even said you would have. It might have been more interesting. So you get into this, and the art isn't as good as the last series. It starts out okay. It gets worse as it goes on. But by the end, this whole thing of the Spirit of Vengeance, and we're getting a narration from the Spirit of Vengeance, and it's just narration. This is so much narration. There's nothing that much different in this than the last series, except there's less here. I think the idea of having the Hood, I don't think anybody's going to be intrigued, except that you said by the end, because of his cape, he looks like Spawn. That had to have been the play. I don't get it.
Exactly like Spawn.
Yeah, at a point, what you see is the Spirit of Vengeance kind of, separates itself from Johnny. Johnny's having problems with the giant spider, it looks like. And that seems like it'll continue on even by the end. It's, hey, if this Hood is the Spirit of Vengeance, then what happened to Johnny? it's almost like, you know what should happen to Johnny? He should have him be the Ghost Rider still.
I kind of wish it was the opposite, where like it pulls all the other Ghost Riders out and it all goes to Johnny and he's the only one.
You go through a whole first issue here where thinking in my mind that if you read the last series, if you were somebody who read the last series, I did.
I did too.
I didn't finish the series because I got bored.
Yeah. No, it was one of the last comics I read that week.
You're not going to be one who is going to just jump on this next run just because you didn't love the last one. It's got to show you something. And I don't think that this is something where the Hood reveal at the end is going to get new readers. But I don't think that the readers who... It's weird. It's like the worst of all worlds. It's just odd. Plus, through most of this issue, it ends up, hey, guess what? We're all Ghost Rider. Because the spirit of vengeance just keeps jumping between people who are mad or upset. I mean, I guess I might be upset if I went to my local theater and they were still playing The Wizard of Oz. That might upset, even though I love it.
That is The Wizard of Oz. You're right. Even The Wizard of Oz gets turned on into Ghost Riders.
How is that? So ridiculous.
And it's not just one person, it's everybody that's in the scene.
Completely dead or just...
They're dead.
Their head was on fire and the whole place is catching on fire, but they just wanted to watch The Wizard of Oz. They were at the classic deal, right?
Yeah, it just bounces around from a parking lot where these kids are hanging out to a movie theater to a strip club.
Did you get the idea at this point where what you were going to get here, we're going to show the craziest stuff. You've never seen a surfing Ghost Rider with a Ghost Rider shark, and we get it, and the art sucks. Stripper Ghost Rider, sumo wrestler Ghost Riders. Then we get
camel Ghost Rider, an actual camel that has the Ghost Rider face.
Yeah. At least it's riding something.
A jet. 747.
A jet. So we're just jumping around.
And you're right, too. This entire issue, which I absolutely hate, is narration boxes, except for the only dialogue in this thing is this old lady and this woman. That's it.
I am everywhere, and I'm nowhere. I'm everyone, and I am no one. My compass spins fast enough to conjure a wind that stokes the flames as I burn through the world. I'm like, shut up. That's all I can think. I'm like, I don't care. Like the idea that, hey there, Spirit of Vengeance, I kind of like you when you're on a motorcycle in Johnny Blaze. I don't need your thoughts and dreams here. Get in somebody.
Pretty cool when you're a Dodge Charger or whatever, too, you know? I mean, it's cool, I guess.
Get a motorcycle. I don't even care if you're an airplane. Just get in it and stop your yapping because you're boring and you're trying to be just over-the-top fancy. First impressions are big. That's what I hear. Luckily, my wife didn't think that. But you end up where, as you go, you actually do get the dupe that you end up thinking that tired-looking single mom with kids whose mother-in-law is a piece of crap and is going to plant drugs to get the kids there because the father committed suicide. What? All this is this play of, I think this is going to be the Ghost Rider. Now, this is why I think that they announced way back that it was going to be the Hood, because who wants this lady to be the Ghost Rider? That's the major part of this issue, because this lady ends up getting mad at her mother-in-law who planted drugs, who now is going to go get child services involved to get these kids. Like, I care. I got 5 kids. You could take 3 right now. And so then to turn into a Ghost Rider, the Spirit of Vengeance, to burn the face off of this lady. And again, this lady, piece of crap, I don't know that she needed her face burned. To then have these kids completely go insane. Like, that girl, something's wrong.
She's going to be in and out of something for the rest of her life.
Grandma, we want to be with Mommy, and locks the door and watches her grandmother get
the house is on fire.
Melted.
The mom's skull is on fire. And this is where the art really takes a turn for the worse, too. These this whole scene right here. And it might just be the colors. I don't know what's going on, but it's rough. This lady she's a real piece of work, but I don't think she deserved to have her face melted off. Which does Ghost Rider even do that? I thought he did the penance stare and you kind of learned about your stuff.
He's doing it now.
Then the lady would learn to be nicer. I mean, this is gruesome, man. It's bad. This is over-the-top Benjamin Percy body horror stuff.
And that's all it is. And then I'm thinking, like, when I picture in my mind the Ghost Rider, I don't think of tired single mom.
Middle-aged single mom, yeah.
With her hoodie on that, can't get any rest because her kids are crying. Like, no. Oh, well.
It would have been an interesting take. I'll give them that.
That would have been different, I guess. I mean, seriously. But at that point, you're jumping around, and that's the whole play of this. The Spirit of Vengeance is trying to find a new host. Now, would we have been better served to maybe get Surfer Gun? Like, maybe that would have been cool. Cowabunga, dude.
That would have been actually pretty cool. Surfer dude, yeah.
Stripper. Like, I'm telling you, in my mind, also, not even just Stripper, but everybody in the crowd as well. Maybe we could have had, like, the Motley Crue Girls video go. It would have been kind of neat.
Maybe just the pole is gets on fire, and that's the Ghost Rider, and she's riding it. Maybe that's something.
That's what she's riding. She is riding the pole.
Yeah, there you go.
That's what she's doing. I'd go with that. I don't know that I wanted Farmer, Ghost Rider, even though he has a tractor, but who wants that, right? And even at the end, when we jump around a little bit more, we start getting actual characters. Most of this issue is tired single mom as the Spirit of Vengeance because the mother-in-law's a bitch. Why? I don't get it. What happens to this family now? They're done, right?
Well, what's going to happen is she's going to lose the power of the Ghost Rider, turn around, and basically just her life's a wreck.
Jail.
She's murdered this lady.
Now we're going to go off, and now we're going to, deep dive in, and it's just one after the other.
Go to Asgard for no reason.
Go to Asgard. We end up going to Danger.
That's a deep cut right there. I mean, I wouldn't even say put that on the X-Men podcast because I don't even know if they know who that is. But she puts a virus?
Malware poison with demonic code. Next thing you know, these poor schmucks, this family's just on their devices.
I'm looking at my tablet right now. I guess I'm dead.
Yeah, I'm looking at 2 screens and a tablet.
So am I.
I'm Ghost Rider. There we go. Hey, everybody, look at me. I'm Ghost Rider. And then people are just jumping out of windows. Ghost Rider.
There's no stakes here. This doesn't happen.
No, and then you go from there, and then, why not? Let's go a few 100,000 miles from Earth, and now a brood is going to get it. You're not even trying now. Now you're just making crap up. All of this just leads to the Hood getting the Spirit of Vengeance. What is happening?
It's the brood was like, what, a few 100,000 miles from Earth, gets infected, whatever. There's a kid, we don't even need to talk about her, what a woman that doesn't interferes. But then somehow the Earth, it's coming to Earth. The brood is. You can see the Earth. That's not that far away.
The brood's going to attack Earth, but in the meantime, they're on a ship a la Aliens. You end up having this one brood that gets the Spirit of Vengeance that goes against the fellow brood because of protecting the human. And also, boom, then it gets back to Earth. Made a wrong turn in Albuquerque. And then it's a cop. It's Craven. It's this. It's that. It's everything. And why not have this? If you're going to set this up and you want to convince me that the Hood should be the deal, show me a little Hood. Everybody doesn't know Hood. They don't know the character that well to actually say, okay, this makes sense. I mean, the only thing that makes sense is he's got a kind of cool cape.
It explains why he wasn't in gang war, I guess. So maybe. And he's in Chicago here. I don't know.
This mystery that takes turns to the brood, to a stripper, to a surfer. What? Like, how could you? I know that this will get, I'm sure. There'll be that one guy, he'll show up and in Spanish, he'll tell us that we're nonsense. And I don't want to hear it because this is, you're coming from a series that, yes, it lasted 21 issues, so I give it credit. That me saying it failed, and I keep thinking, well, a lot of books don't get to 21, so that's fine. But there's a reason why it ended 2.5 months ago, and now it's coming back. And Marvel, I was going to say at the beginning, Marvel has done this. They did it with Chip Zdarsky's Daredevil. They're doing it right now with Jed McKay's Moon Knight. And usually for the least bit is what they think is, okay, we think the book's still good, but it's lost a little spark. Let's get it going. Let's get it back. That's kind of like I think with Jed McKay's Moon Knight. People are really big on talking how great it was, but I think a lot of people kind of like, yeah, I kind of got a little bored. I'll catch up later, whatever. But then you have the death of Moon Knight and come back with a new number 1. People are like, okay. This, though, coming back with Stripper on the pole, Cowabunga surfing and Egyptian, camel deal, to then get to the Hood. What is the elevator pitch for a comic book store owner to convince somebody who may have dropped the last book or didn't read the last book to read this? Where are you going to give them? Well, this first issue, you get a stripper. There's Wizard of Oz. I don't get it.
It has to just be what the Hood looks like. Maybe there were some character designs tossed around. I'm not sure. I really don't.
Maybe it is, right? But the first issue, it's Johnny Blaze on the cover.
Yeah.
If you're going to go with this, you already announced it. You
just own it.
Get Ryan Stegman on this deal and make it look like Spawn.
Man.
Get Greg Capullo. He's doing stuff now over there. Get Classic deal. and make it look like, holy crap, that looks like Spawn. But instead, this first issue at the end, it's like, hey, everybody, don't worry. It's not going to be middle-aged single mom dumpy lady in a hoodie.
That was just a misdirect. It's going to be the Hood.
But here's the weird play, too. I'm going to rate this. But I really do think that the next issue kind of will be what I think will be the number one issue to see if I want to continue, because I want to see the Hood as the Ghost Rider, see what this means, see what he's riding. You said, give us a vehicle, give us nothing at all. Even the next cover.
There better be a vehicle. I'm going to freak out. It's almost like a Zero issue more than anything. And I want to say too, because Ben Percy's, he's got 100 issues under his belt under X-Force and Wolverine. The Wolverine Sabretooth War is some of the best X-Men Krakoa stuff that I've read in a long time.
I'll never put him as my favorite writer, but I think he is at least consistent.
Yeah.
And he'll give you some things. That last series never felt like it got to the point where it got going. And then once it did, people had already bailed. So it's a weird start. He's not a bad writer. I usually don't say at the end of a week, like, oh my God, that Ben Percy issue was great, even though some of those Wolverine have been pretty good. And I'll tell people right now, if we didn't have an X-Men show on the feed, I think me and you would be talking about Wolverine.
I would definitely want to.
I'm really enjoying it. And I do end up sending some messages to Ruben about some of the things, but I told him I am enjoying the Wolverine.
Maybe we'll commandeer it from them, take it over.
Well, why not? I mean, we're in charge. What would you give this?
I would say this is a tough one, and I don't want to go too low, but I'm gonna go with a 5.
I'm gonna go with a 6. Okay. Maybe a 5.
I'm pretty low on it, man. I can't help it.
Weird science
is the revolution.